Good afternoon, everybody. This is your host, OG Luqqy, back with another Chess with OG Luqqy, episode 4, Openings and Theory. Now, it's very simple. We start with e4, obviously, because that is the most popular move by far. I don't know if you'll take a look one more time. It has over 300,000 more than d4. But these two are the most popular moves to start off with. These right here. And there's a good reason why, because you want to control the center of the board. Now, this is what theory has to do with mathematical understanding, because there is an element of math to it. It's an equation, correct? So we're looking at, okay, what move is going to give me the most control over the board? Because that is what you're looking at. You're looking at control over the board because the enemy has to move and they have to commit somewhere. So, as white, you're generally going to be attacking. So as white, you would want to play a move that gets out most of your pieces. In one move, white has unlocked their queen. Their queen can now leave. Their bishop can now leave. They can bring either of the knights out. Do not put the knights right here. That is the worst decision you can make. You can put them right there after you get your bishop out. So, for example, you could play something along the lines of, you could play that and then that. That's a bad move, actually. Don't do that. You could put it right here, and you're setting up for Scholar's Mate. And then you'll notice that your knight's movement is blocked off. But that's fine, because you can now put your knight right there. And here's another little tip for you beginners. The knights, if you put one and bring them out long ways, and the other one comes out normally, they will always protect one another. It's the same thing on the other side. If you bring, I'm just moving, I don't care. If you bring this knight out right here, and you bring this knight out, one second. You bring this knight out right here. Now, ignoring the fact that it's blocking the bishop, it can always defend itself, the knights can. So if you play as black and they're already attacking, these two knights are defending one another. These two knights are defending one another. It's good to know these things. Also, just for a point of reference, you got 4 knights in the center. Those 4 knights are looking right at each other, waiting for them to pounce. As you can see, this knight and this knight combined control the whole center of the board. Yeah? And then these pawns being pushed, these pawns, if you got 2 pawns next to one another, you got all 4 of the squares in front of them can be captured. So, if this is the position that it ends up in, white has the advantage because they make the first move. They make the first capture. It's completely even, therefore white has the advantage. You capture, they capture back. You capture, they capture back. Capture, they capture. Now right here you have a choice. You have to capture the knight, obviously. But if you capture with the queen, if you can capture it with the pawn. If your queen can't capture it in the beginning, but the queen can capture it because she is guarding the knight, but she's still guarding the knight, and she's out attacking a weak square. Now, black has obviously not really much to do here. So, moving on, we'll go with d4. Now, d4 is tricky. I like d4. It opens up the king. It makes them want to overcommit on the king side, or on the queen side, excuse me. Because you'll notice the queen and the king start off on the same color. And this is because the queen likes to walk on her own color. She likes to start off, the white queen always starts off on a white square. The dark queen always starts off on a dark square. Right? So knowing this, you can instantly take advantage of diagonal inaccuracy. Right? Ignoring that, because you would block off the bishop by doing that. Generally, you'd want to put the bishop out before you made a move like this. Like this, rather. And then, you know, this is what I'm talking about right here. Bam. And then you have to bring it out like that, or you have to bring it out like that. Or you can block with your queen and lose 6 points. Or you can move your king and lose the right to castle and put him out in the open. It's very tricky using moves like this. So normally, they wouldn't do that because you would just defend with the knight and it would be a trade. You'd bring your knight out and defend this pawn. Always defend, do not attack. Do not attack yet. And if they put a threat on this pawn, well, guess what? It's defended by 2 pieces, the queen and the knight. However, if there's pieces waiting to recapture, you never want to capture with the queen first. For example, we will do a little bit of fast forwarding here. For example, you play something like that expecting to put this bishop on the square that the pawn was just on. Then they can go ahead and defend this, even though they don't have to. Because if you put the bishop out, then they can just play that. Now this is scary. Or it looks scary. They're saying, oh, they're going to capture your bishop. But your bishop, you don't realize this square that the pawn just moved to, it's under attack by 3 pieces. There's 3 different pieces that can move here. You got kablam, you got kablam, and you got kablam. But whatever piece that you capture with, just know that it might not get captured by this knight. Not any other piece, because no other pieces can reach it. But this knight can reach it. And you know, if you throw your knight out here, he'll be completely happy making this trade. Because is your bishop really threatening this knight? If it's just going to bring their queen out? Probably not. Right? Now, the bishop would be more useful right here. But that's a lose of tempo. You want to capture and threaten the knight with the pawn. Excuse that banging. You want to threaten to capture the knight with something that is worth 1 point rather than something that is worth 3 points. Because you capture with the bishop, that's an even trade, considering it's just going to bring their queen out. It's actually slightly worse for you. Now, you also have to realize something else. When you make a pawn chain the way I have, like stacking pawns diagonally behind one another, like this bishop is acting as a pawn right now. Just imagine this bishop was a pawn. It would be forming a pawn chain. So I will demonstrate it with a real pawn. Boom. Now this pawn chain is practically indestructible. Because the only square that can be attacked is this square right here. And if they attack it, they lose the piece. They lose it to the rook. The weakest point on a pawn chain is always going to be the pawn in the very back. Because it has no pawns behind it protecting it, waiting to replace it. So some openings, you're going to want to open the center up. And this looks like this. When you get everything out. That was not correct. When you get everything out, the center is nice and open. Right? So, let's say you go and do that. You would castle, they'd castle long, everybody would be happy. Except you, because now your bishop is under attack. So you have to think about moves like this one before you play them. This is nice, but it blocks off your bishop for the future. That's why if you play the English opening, if you play the English opening, which is pushing this pawn that I love so much, you have to remember, what is this controlling? Okay, this is controlling this square, so I can make that capture. And now you have tempo, they have to move back. Now you're in the lead, and now they have to move the same piece twice. And you have control over 2 squares in the center of the board, and they have none. And you have 2 pawns in the middle, and they have 1. And their king is exposed, and your king is not exposed. So you'd move up, take control of the center, consolidate, don't attack. You don't need to throw your pieces at them. That's just how you get killed. That's how you get checkmated. That is how you lose at chess. That is not what we're here to do. We are here to win. And win we shall. So, like I said before, the goal is to try to put 2 pawns in the center, take control of the center, expand, but most of all, react to what your opponent is doing. Most of all, you have to anticipate what moves they might make. For example, you might have to anticipate the possibility that they move their bishop out right here and they pin that knight. And you might be thinking, oh, that knight, it's protecting the pawn. Their knight can't take it. Well, yes, it can. Now, you'll hang your queen. You'll hang your queen, and everybody will be happy. That would be bad right there. You'd actually want to recapture with a knight. Even though you move a piece backwards, you save yourself the right to castle, which will be huge without a queen. That's just one example. That's just one example. This is a horrible move. This is a horrible move, and to be honest, this is a horrible move. Because then you just play something like this. You play that. The smartest move for black right here, if they wanted to pin this, that right there. Because if they just go ahead and capture, then you recapture, and that square, the control of the squares that this piece had is no longer negated. Now, if you had a pawn right here, that wouldn't be true, and you just have doubled pawns, and that's not generally looked upon as a good idea. However, this pin still exists. This pin still exists. Correct? It doesn't even give me the option to capture right there. Because you're still pinned. So I lied. The best move to play right there is that. Captures. You still win that square. This square is protected. You got the knight right there. Now, obviously, the game could go anywhere from here. Simple way to castle, right? Just a simple way to think about it. The king will always move 2 squares. Right? So, king will always move 2 squares. Like that. So, he will be on a dark square. He'll be on a dark square. That's what you have to realize. If you're white, if you're black, the king will be on a light square. Because he moves 2 in this direction and 2 in the other direction. So, for example, I will show that one too, because I am so generous. Ba-ba-boom, 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 da-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum. So now black is castling first here because black had 2 pieces to move. Even though white went first, he had an extra piece to develop. So castles, he moves over 2 squares and the rook moves past him. 2 squares still. So you're going to have 2 pieces away from the board. So this means 2 pieces away from the edge, my mistake. This means that this square is automatically a weakness, this pawn on the outside. That is a weakness. The best thing to do here would either be to move it up or to move up the next one, depending on what squares, like if they lost one of their bishops or if they have knights, because a knight could reach around. For example, if you play this, the knight could attack it from this square. The knight can attack pieces from awkward angles where they're not susceptible to diagonals or the rooks, to be quite frank. No other piece can reach and defend itself directly from a knight, right? Except for another knight. But this pawn cannot protect itself against a knight. And this is a weakness. This is a weakness. They're offering a trade right here. Right? They're saying, okay, if you capture this pawn with this knight, you're probably going to lose that knight. You're probably just going to lose it. However, you can trade and we'll be even and it'll be happy. Except not really, because white is hanging a piece and black has no room to develop his pieces. And he has no room to move his queen out to protect all of his pieces in the center. So, without further ado, that will be all of the theory discussed in the openings box. We will now move on to some rapid 10-minute videos, or battles, my mistake. Bringing out the knight first. Going for a King's Indian setup. Oh, this is... You just develop like normal. Nothing's under attack. You always have to check to make sure nothing's under attack. Oh, yes. He might push that pawn. Yep. And you push this pawn to stop this, the king's pawn moving forward again. Because if that's the case, then you just capture with the pawn. Ah, yes. He thinks that works. He thinks that beats it. How about we just bring another pawn into the center? Captures. Excuse me. Honestly, I think I made the wrong move here. That's not what you want to do. The correct move to play... I should have castled. So I'm just going to move out of danger. And if he pushes that pawn, then I'll capture with the bishop. And if he captures, then I will capture with the other pawn behind it. And it'll open up my queen's diagonal too. And if he does nothing and ignores it, then I take this piece. Oh. Now I still have a pawn in the center. And this knight is weak. Oh, you're so scary. Well, watch this. Boop. You thought. Oh, that's no bueno. No bueno. And it's alright that my knight is blocking the bishop here, because he has squares all on... Yep, that's what I thought it was going to be. Recapture with the knight so that you can unblock your dark square bishop Now, he might be looking to long castle. If he long castles, then I short castle. And if he short castles, then I will still short castle, because the board is opened up. That's no bueno. And neither is this. Neither is that. That's no good. I'll just make the trade and I'll open up the rook file. Because this rook will be facing his king. And I'll have 2 pawns in the center. Yep. Okay. Now you still only have 1 pawn in the center. Are you going to do anything about that? And I have full development. Bad move. I don't know why you would play something like that. Just block it with the pawn. He gives a check for no reason? Are you sure about that one? If he captures, then I'll just capture with the pawn, make it I'll offer a trade. Yep, that's safe, because if he captures with the bishop, then I just capture the queen. And he'll be hanging a rook. I'm not worried. Oh, you're big and scary, huh? My queen is no longer pinned, or my knight. Ho 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 ho. Oh, you're so scary. Add support to the pawn. Oh, you think this scares me? Very simple. Attack hanging pieces. I see 2, 3 pawns. I see 2 pawns I can reach, and I see 3 that I can possibly reach. And if I push this pawn, then I'll be even better. And the knight doesn't have much room. I'll be displacing a piece that is the defender of another piece. Bad move. What the hell are you doing, man? Hanging a pawn. Man, what are you doing? Jesus, that's horrible. Attack their knight. Yes, sir. Please give me that juicy fork on the... Oh, you're gonna see. You're gonna see in like 2 seconds. Hang a knight. Capture with the pawn, please. I would love to see you do that. Oh no, you're not gonna capture with the pawn? Are you crazy or what? Move this rook up so that it doesn't hang, because it would be hanging in the bishop's line of sight. This bishop has been sitting here comfortably for most of the game. Now you don't understand, I've just made you move your piece, and you have nowhere to go. It's a torpedo, man. The bishop, you have to realize, they're like flooping torpedoes. They like to wait. They like to lie in wait and attack pieces when your enemy forgets about them. That's what they like to do. And there's not really much that can be done about a bishop that is poked in the corner like that if you have it set up right. That's just hanging, my guy. Yeah, that's just hanging. And the bishop is not in danger whatsoever, because the rook still has its line of sight. And also, I'm threatening a check. No, he's just going to resign? Okay. Well, we'll play one more since he resigned. I want to show a clandestine checkmate. Now, we'll go with the English opening this time. This guy's 1,000. That doesn't scare me. 1,000 doesn't scare me. Okay, you want to play the knight out. They're playing very, very passively. Okay, now that he's played that I no longer have to worry about his dark square bishop right there next to his king. It's never going to come out and pin my knight. So I think I'll go ahead and just glue this shut with a nice little tempo in the center. Please capture that. I hope you do. Play this move. Defend the pawn even though it already has defense. Now I can move this bishop out to this line right here. I can move this knight to this other knight to protect this knight right here, so I don't have to mess up my pawn structure and open up the center before I have to. There we go. We'll move that right there, and the queen will sit happily right here. Castle opposite side they do. Yes, sir. Now we castle short side. Now, he made the smart move. He's probably going to play, like, pawn up or something. Yeah, he's doing it. He's going for that. No thanks. You know what? Instead, I will just get my last piece out. Yeah, that's no bueno, man. That's no bueno. He thinks that he's got an attack over here. But watch this. If you just break open the center and put your rooks in there. See, he's lost a move. He's lost a move. That doesn't work either. That doesn't work because I just capture your queen. Once again, just threaten his queen. Don't play like this. You should always just address it. Either move the queen, or if the queen is standing in front of something else, then just block it with a piece. For example, I can block it with that. And if he captures with the bishop, then I just capture with the knight. And then he'll most likely capture with the knight too. Waiting. Notice how my pawns are already in chains. You got the these two pawns ready to recapture right there. What are you doing, dude? Are you serious? Why did you just hang a queen? Oh my god. Okay, we'll go one more, since he wanted to hang his queen. That's ridiculous, man. This is why I don't like dropping. I think we'll just go ahead and bring the queen out. I'm not doing scholar's mate, man. Yeah, you thought, didn't you? You did, huh? Alright. We'll just go ahead and control this. That's a bad move, too. In fact, let me show you why that's bad. Mm-hmm. You sure did, huh? Get the bishop. Now I can castle queenside. This is good for me, what he just did. This is wonderful, actually. Yes, this is just perfect. This is just perfect. Because now I can just remove this pawn, glue the position shut. Long castle. That doesn't scare me. That doesn't scare me at all. Capture with the knight. Unlock the bishop. He's up 2 points. Oh, and you removed the defenders of that square. I love it. You know what else I love? When you hang your pieces. That's what I love. I love when you hang your pieces. Yes, let's trade queens, shall we? Yes, sir. Now I have a better position than you, because your queen was the only thing out. And you'll notice his light square bishop is gone, and you can see he's already putting his pawns on dark squares. So now that the queens are gone, I feel a little bit more comfortable bringing the other rooks out. Because he has no development. He's literally been pushing his pawns the entire time. And now his pieces are kind of blocked in. This is just, I mean, I don't understand. Like, what was your goal here? Just move the bishop out to a random-ass square? That's never a good idea. Okay, we'll just push and take more space. Nope. Bring my last piece out. Also, putting your pieces in places where they can stop the enemy's pawns from moving forward. That is a wonderful idea. For example, this pawn will never come right here and cause this trade to happen. Add another defender. What are you doing, my guy? Act like this has anything other than frivolity written all over it. How about I just hand you a nice check? Yes, that's right, run away. Please run away. I hope you run away. Now I can push this. Yup. Do that, and then push this. I'm going to wait for him to push this pawn. Nope, block it with the bishop now that he's put his rook behind it. What are you going to do, sir? That's what you're going to do? Why would you do that? Seriously? Okay. Very simple, the line of thought here. First of all, you want to move one of your pieces. The king is safe right here. The king is safe from the knight. There's no square that the knight can move to that will cause danger to the king. And I'm fine with trading my dark square bishop because it's just going to hit the edge of this pawn chain and cause a dent. And it's not really worth trying to break it open. So I'll recapture there. And this bishop is now hanging. Or this knight. No, it's not. My mistake. It's not a free knight because the pawn has protection over it. Wow, what a great move. What a great move. I will show you why that is losing. That was the wrong move. I just hung a knight. I should have just brought the fucking bishop back, but I had to be dumb. Had to act cool. That pawn is hanging too, but I don't really want it. I'm more concerned with other things. There's not really much to do here, honestly. I kind of blundered away all my pieces. I think the smartest move would be to start bringing the king over. Bro, that does not work. What? Are you crazy? So you're actually going to let me box you in then? Is this what I'm getting? Move the bishop out of the way. Yeah, see, he's up a queen and a pawn. Oh, he wants to trade the pieces down. That is a bad idea to do, but I will do it for the sake of demonstrating why. And see, he had control of the pieces with his rooks. I really would like to resign here, but I will finish. Obviously, don't push the pawn. Try to get your king over to attack their rook. That's no good. Still no good. Pin the rook. That's what I thought. He didn't pin the rook. He could have. That's just losing, man. Come on, I'll attack you. Uh-huh. Oh, I'm in check. Alright, man, bring your rook in. Come on. I've just put myself on... Are you dumb? You had it. You had it. You could have had this awesome checkmate. Come on, man, take out the rest of... There you go. There you go. Damn, people are slow. Just capture me. Promote it to a queen, please. That's what I would like to see. Yep, and it's pretty much over, except my opponent still needs to wake up before I lose. Or else it's just not going to happen. And he's going to end up stalemating me. Oh my god, you have to check me now, or it's stalemate. Yeah, finally. God damn. Alright, we will do one more. Push the e5, e4 pawn, my mistake. Capture, okay. That's just losing. Yes, please. Keep doing that. Yep, keep going. Block yourself in. Keep attacking. Don't weaken your pawn structure, but definitely keep attacking. That's losing because if he pushes, then I have knight takes. Tick-tock, man, tick-tock. I'm developing evenly, by the way. That's also losing. Alright. That's still losing. Are you thick? Now your queen is under attack. Now your queen is trapped. Oh my god, he actually fell for it. Your queen is now trapped. There's no recourse for her now. Your queen is still trapped. Yeah, I don't think so. I think your queen is staying right where she is. I think your queen is staying right where she is. Really? That's just losing automatically. Now she has no safe squares. Get back. Step back, man. I told you to step back. I told you there was no safe squares for your queen. Alright, here's what we'll do. I'm asking him not to resign. And that's very easily countered. When your pawns are all protected like this. Yes. Oh yes, that's so scary. What am I going to do? I have so many pieces hanging. Except I'm up 5 points and the queens are hanging and his king is in the center of the board. Which I'm going to punish very, very rapidly if he does not hurry his ass up and get developed. Oh yes, that's just beautiful. Perfect. Woo! That's perfect. What are you gonna do? Oh, he castled. He castled. Okay, so I'll tell you exactly what we are going to do. We are going to straighten out this pawn chain, number 1, and break open this square and get his rook out on the field. This is losing automatically because his rook is hanging. And he hangs a check. He has to do something about the knight. There we go. Now that's check. He has only 1 square that he can move to. No, he's got 2. Never mind. Oh, this is even more. This is even more advanced than I thought. Okay, we'll just line up the queen and the rook. So before I was down a rook, and now I'm just up a queen. That was not a good move, because if check, then I just grab it. That's 6 points for 5. Yes, sir, that's 6 points for 5. Oh, that's just gorgeous. Just lovely. Yeah, how about we grab that with the queen so that we don't have to worry about pawn structure and all that. His knight is effectively cut off from retreating. Does he think that's winning too? Wait, does he actually... Does he not see? I don't think he sees the capture here. Oh, that is winning. My mistake. Oh crap, that's actually really good. Okay, well we'll do that. So now if he captures the bishop, then the knight captures. He's going to grab the bishop because it's hanging. Or he should anyways. Yeah, see, the king is pretty unsafe right now. My king is anyways. As soon as he gets that rook in, that'll be game over. Alright. Well, how not to get checkmated. Episode 12. Alright, I'll have the knight right there. I'll lose the bishop, but I'll guard this door right here. Plus, if he moves the bishop back, then I can get him with a back rank. Yep, that's what I thought. Ah, that's what I thought too. Excuse me, sir, kindly step away. Push the pawn. Get it to the back row so you can get another queen going. Take the pawn and give a check. Oh dear. Grab it with check. Yes, sir. I'm getting another queen, and you are not going to stop me. Oh, that's beautiful too. You know why? Because I still have that. I played the wrong move again. I'm playing badly today for some reason. Okay, well, I'll take the knight with check right here. Yep, and then I will grab the rook with check. And then I will happily take my winnings and go home. Now that I've got him lured out to the middle of the board, he can't move behind his rook. He has to move away from his rook. Which means that I win the rook because the king is the only thing defending. Oh dear, are you going to let me fork all of your pieces like that? I hope you will. I sure do hope so. I sure do hope so. Capture with the knight. Because if you capture with the queen, he just takes the knight. Because the queen can't reach the knight. Smart move, smart move, smart move. Double check. Well, no, that's not double check. This square would have been double check. The square right here. But we are very clearly winning here. There's no way that he can checkmate me with what he has. We'll just ignore that pawn. We'll just push right past it. And we'll capture it since he's, obviously a little bit slow about his advancing. Come on, man. Come on. Capture. Yes, sir. Check. 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 Mate. That was good. That's what you want to do most of the time. I'm gonna be honest. It can be cool to, like, try and get those insane checkmates in, like, 10, 12 moves. Yeah, man. But you know what is solid and what will checkmate them guaranteed, and you don't have to fucking play gambits and shit. You can just play solid. I wasn't playing very solid, but you can play solidly and just advance and not hang anything. I like to spice it up a little bit, which is why my rating never goes up. However, I still play to where I can win. I still play to where my enemy will make mistakes. We can go over this. Correct. We can look at the report. It'll tell you how many blunders you have. This is chess.com, by the way, and it is not sponsoring this video, but chess.com is amazing, and I highly recommend it if you play chess. So, it was a real battle, but I earned the win. You're damn straight I did. That's my last book move. That just means it's the last move that is played as an opening. It's everything after that is no longer an opening. It's a variation. It says that's a mistake. Apparently the best move is to bring my bishop out. And right here, this is the best reply to my opponent's mistake because he has pieces hanging. And no matter what he does, it's kind of not a good idea. Capture with the knight is apparently bad. Moving the knight up here would be the best move because then I could get the queen. I could get the queen to this central square over here. And then, of course, capture with the bishop since he wanted to hang his queen. Didn't even grab one of my pieces in exchange for it. It says that's a missed win. I'm going to retry that, actually. What is the best move here? To play, like, I don't know, this or something? It says that's an inaccuracy. What is it then? This? That's a missed win? I don't understand. Where is the missed win? Is it this? It says that's a missed win too. Where is the check? Is it right here? It says that's an inaccuracy. Is it right here? That's an inaccuracy. Is it right here? No. Where is it? How the hell is... How is that best? I don't understand. I already know. Yeah, forced checkmate. Yeah, okay. I figured there might be a faster checkmate. Obviously it'll show the threats now. That's good. That was bad. That's good. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's good. That's bad, apparently. Because I forgot the knight was blocking this right here. Right? However, I lost a rook, but I trapped her. I trapped her / pieces. Obviously, just blocking the queen in, right? Right? So that's the thing. the way I was moving these pieces over here, when the queen was back here, I made the right decisions. I played the right moves. Push that pawn, the queen can no longer get out. This pawn is protected. This pawn is protected. Right here, she can try to get out. Right here, she can try to get out. Right? So when he moves up, I just push this pawn because now the bishop is protecting that pawn. And everything over here is still protected. All these squares are unsafe. Right? So he moves back. I just push the front pawn. He's just losing space left and right with those moves. And then this, you just play that. You just play that. That's the best move to play, apparently, the bishop out. Because what I was not thinking about was this diagonal over here that he can just throw down, right? Still effectively worthless because of takes, then that. And then you have to move your knight out so that you don't get your rook captured. Because if you do something lazy, right, well, at least now you can move there. But see, that's my point. If you just develop, oh, well, now my rook is pinned, oh no. Yeah, so don't do any of that. Don't leave your knight and your rook like that. If your bishop it leaves this square, then you have to do something to protect that pawn right there, because that's weak. It's a weakness after that. Yeah, see, I got double check. Right? Captures. See, I wasn't thinking. I blundered away pieces. See, that's checkmate. That was checkmate right there. If I didn't do anything, like if I just moved right here, that'd be checkmate. Literally be hanging mate. So what I did was I hung the bishop because the knight had the protection. As you can see, the knight is ready to recapture on that square. Now his best move would be that, because if I capture, then he captures right there with an attack on my queen. And I just have to move my queen back after that. And then, yeah, it would be all bad. But I played the smart move, right? And then he forks. He goes for the capture. So I move my knight up. I take the advantage of his knight no longer being there. And he captures with that. But see, now my queen has opened up her squares to move on. And this is just winning for me. Captures, push, checking. Just get checks on the king. Work him around in a circle and get separation. See, the queen is attacking the king right here. The king cannot possibly hope to defend three different things. This pawn is pretty much toast. Even when he moves like that. See? Now I just separated him from his rook because this square next to the rook is no good because the knight can recapture. See, it won't even let me do it. So, you just lose your pieces. There's ways you can set up. You cut off the squares that the king can move to. They cannot play the move that will move them into check. If their bishop is pinned, you cannot play a move that undoes the pin. For example, let's just give an example. For example, this. Now you're thinking, oh my god, the bishop is under attack by two different things. I gotta move it out of the way. No. That is hopeless. The bishop is pinned, and the queen can capture here because the knight is guarding the queen, meaning the king cannot capture the queen. Now, if this knight wasn't here, if the knight wasn't there, then he could capture the queen. But if the queen has something guarding it, then the king cannot capture. Right? This position came, by the way, because I opened up the center. On the first move, I bring my knight out, and I start opening up this side of the board, hoping to castle. And with the whole shenanigans with capturing his queen, I just got a nice wide angle on my pawns. And my pawn advancement made it very difficult for him to get his pieces out. See, he's castled long side, but I already have a pawn storm coming in on the long side. I was so good right here. I don't know how I floundered it. Because I hung my rook, I guess. And I no longer have any rooks, and my position on the king was just unsafe. That's crazy. I had such a lead. I managed to give it away. See, I wasn't thinking like a chess player. I was thinking like I wanted to be informative and show you why certain things don't work. This wins. This is winning because you win the knight. That's winning because you win the rook, but it's safely protected. Right? Where does the king go? Oh, well, you obviously want to fork him. Then he has to move away from what he should be focusing on. Now you're hanging a rook. Now if he moves here, now it's safe to move back. Now he can do anything from right here. He can move back into check. And then that wins the knight. But it doesn't really matter because you're ready to hunt him down with the queen. Attack 3 different things, right? Capture. He has to move. Attack. He has to move. Attack. Your queen is not a broadsword. She is a scalpel. She is not made for going and checkmating the opponent in 4 turns. Your queen is made to support your other pieces. For example, when I make this trade right here, I capture with the knight. Because if I capture with the queen, I lose the knight. Right? Very simple. I don't capture the pawn right here. I move my knight out of the queen's path. Now the king is hit on the diagonal. He moves back. He's impeding his own bishop. Right here. He captured with the pawn. I don't know why he thought that was a good idea. This king still has no way onto this square. So I have to bully him into a corner. This is checkmate. These squares are all unguarded. These ones, this square is guarded, this one, all these. Even though it's hanging a piece to put my queen right here, if you're capturing the king while you're doing it, then it doesn't matter. It has no effect. So he moves his king, right? If his king is hit, you know, right here on the square next to him, then it doesn't matter if the bishop is guarding that square. You don't have to guard your king. You have to guard the pieces guarding your king. And not with your king. Guard them with other pieces. Because let me tell you what somebody is looking for when they go to attack you. They're thinking to themselves, what is the only piece, or what is the piece in this formation where the king is the only thing waiting to recapture? And then you have to somehow grab that piece from them with 2 pieces. You have to make sure 2 pieces can see that. Grab it with one of them and hit the king. That way the king doesn't just recapture, but there's nothing else waiting to recapture, and you have something guarding that piece. king can't recapture, and he has to just run away. You will be disqualified for playing an illegal move. So if you're playing in like tournaments, or you're planning to play in anything like tournaments, just keep that in mind. The computer doesn't let you make illegal moves. You see how it shows the movement available right here? That's because this doesn't put the king in check. Everything else puts the king in check. Now, besides that, that's all I really wanted to show you for today. This video is way longer than I expected it to be, but we got some good info out there. I hope you enjoyed watching me play, and I hope my voice isn't too annoying. But this has been Chess with OG Luqqy, episode 4. Still don't have a name for it. I'll figure it out when I'm designing the thumbnail. Anyway, I hope you all have a fantastic evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. By the way, if you enjoy watching OG Luqqy and teaching chess theory, then you should definitely subscribe. You should definitely like the video, and you should definitely share it, because my God, I'm doing hour-long videos for y'all. This ain't for me. This is for you guys to see. Now, a quick word before I go. It's been a week since I've uploaded. That's about to change. The reason for this was very, very, very bad timing on my phone's part to decide to screw up. And basically, long story short, it took me a week to figure it out, and I wasn't able to record any videos until yesterday. So, I apologize for the wait on the videos, I truly do. It's supposed to be a daily upload. That was bad on my part. So anyway, daily from now on. No screw-ups this time. Chess with OG Luqqy on Sundays. The rest of the week, I'm doing Skilled or Noob, adding to that playlist.